I am so excited. Today is the day. I'm going to put the carburetors on this bike. I'm going to put the front brake on it, but more importantly than the front brake is carburetors, because that's what's going to make it run. I want to hear this bike run by the end of the day, and I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem. Throw those carburetors on there, put some fuel to it, and I think we'll be good. That's my goal for today with this project. And then I have to wait until probably March. I'm going to put it into storage. I got a couple other projects I want to work on. I need a speedometer cable and a clutch cable and some mirrors. But I can get it back out in March, do some tweaking on it, fine tuning, and get it ready for spring, get it ready for April. So I will bring you along as much as possible today. Once I get the carbs in, get some fuel to it, I will attempt to start, and I will turn the camera back on at that point. So stick with me today. This is going to be a good one. I decided to show you a little bit about what it takes to put carburetors back on. It is not my favorite thing to do on a bike. They just squeeze in there so hard. On this particular bike, I have this turned all the way out, and if you see, I have a little bit of play on my throttle. There is an adjuster up here, so I get a little bit of adjustment up there. I just want to see if it runs today, so I'm not fine-tuning it. I have it so that everything works there. This works. This is nice. I have a choke right here instead of a cable. I really wish they hadn't got away from that. It makes it so much easier. And now comes the fun part, squeezing these things in there. Sometimes you just got to look at where you're at, what you're doing. It is not going to be fun. It is not going to be easy. Holy cow. Wow. It is a tight fit in this one. Wonder if coming in over the top. Sometimes you got to get creative. Let me take this. I hate to take this off, but again, today is just trying to get it to run, so I don't want to take these out again either. So see what I mean? It's just a pain in the butt. It's a tight fit. They don't want to fit. If I take these off, they go back on so stinking hard. I can squish it up, but look, it's so stinking tight. This is a must. This is probably the worst set I've ever had. Normally don't have problems like this, but again, this is an 82, so there may be a little bit of variance in between an 82 and an 80. These boots are not in the best shape, so it is just a pain. See how we got a squish back here and we're super tight up here. My goal is to try to get them to lift it up into here, pop them in, and then put these on, because these are a little more pliable. But not gonna be an easy task today. This is why you take the tank off too. We're getting close. It says back boots are causing a problem. Yeah, I think I know what can do. Take these off. I've got a little bit of space for it to come back, so let me do that. I think this is going to be the difference here. Wasn't even thinking about it. I was thinking this was in here pretty tight against the battery box, but it's not. It has room to move back. Normally I don't show this aspect of it because honestly, for me watching a video, I don't want to see somebody turning wrenches. So Bear with me and we'll get back to squeezing those carburetors on. There. Put these in the magnetic bowl and squeeze this back just a little bit, and look, we have a lot more room now. Just that little bit of clearance. So that helps a great deal. A great deal. And while I'm at it, thinking about it, come here. Let's see if I can squish this back in there, because they don't bend well, so to put it on otherwise. Perfect. Alright, that gave me the clearance I needed, I believe. We're still binding up on these boots, but I don't know, can I squish this back? This front back? Not really. That was helpful. That one started. Get this one going. There we go, baby. Alright. They are not in there until they pop in. There is a spot in there that they sit. And until it hits that spot, sometimes you can wiggle them around. There we go. There we go. You see how there's no line out here at all. Awesome. Now comes another fun part. Technically, this is all I need to do to hook it up. I could put a fuel line on here and get it to start. I really want to put gas in the tank. Maybe I should just hook this up to get it to run. These particular boots, I pulled them right out of the box, which is what I didn't want to do, because they're such a pain. They're a pain to get in the box and on the carburetors. Good Lord. Now you know why I don't like taking carburetors apart or off. I do it as little as possible. How am I going to get that squished back up in there? It's not fun. It is, or I wouldn't be doing it. Not the funnest part of what I'm doing, let's put it that way. Alright, I think we got her going into the box. The thing with these CV carburetors, anybody knows or should know, you know, the pod filters are really cool and they look cool, but you really have to mess with the jetting on the carburetor to get them to work. And I am not, at this point, comfortable doing that. Otherwise I'd throw a set of pods on here. So I don't like messing with that stuff, so just gonna leave it at this. Let's get that other one lined up, because this is gonna need to move forward and down to get this to line up correctly. Yeah, these things are tuned, factory tuned, to run with this air box. And people take the air boxes off and they don't understand that it's not a hollow carburetor on your Chevy 350 where you can just throw any carburetor on it and put an open element air filter on it and have it run good. It works great on your 350, but not so well on these old carbs, these old bike carbs. So you really got to know what you're doing. I've researched it a little bit. I like the look of those. Certainly would be easier. Wow, did that not line up well at all. Alright. One goes in really good and the other one's a pain in the butt. So you see how that works. I think we went like this. So yeah, I've researched it. I've looked into it. It's like, man, I just don't know if I want to mess with the carburetors. You know, having a whole bunch of jets and, well, it's not quite right. Pulling them out, putting another set of jets in. Well, that changed it. Now it's doing this. And not much of a fine tuner, so someday maybe. I'm getting to the point where I'm doing more than what I used to. Come on, get up in there. I can't reach my finger in there to help either. Ah! It doesn't want to sit in there. It doesn't want to pop in where it's supposed to be. Try it this way. That one to pop down in there. That'll help. It doesn't want to stay. It's going, but it doesn't want to stay. Ah, come on. I don't know how this is looking on video. I got you on a headband, and I never know what it's going to look like, so hopefully this is usable. I really wish I could make sure that I know that you're seeing what I'm seeing. Oh my gosh. There. Now, in theory, I probably could take this airbox all the way out. It's still not sitting completely on there. Take the battery box out, take the airbox all the way out, put everything back in that way. It probably would be okay. It might make it easier. So I gotta get these boots down over the carburetors. There. Oh, it's as easy as that. No, not quite. Come on, this one's being a difficult one. Come on, pop down on there. Where are you being difficult at? Get a smaller screwdriver handy. Awesome, look at there. Our bolt holes are lined up on the airbox. Everything's squished in there where it should. Let me set those bolts back on real quick. These two, this is almost where it needs to be. Fell back in place pretty well. I really think that since it's going to be sitting a while, I don't want to put gas in the tank, so I think I'm going to rig up a gas bottle here to feed the carbs and go with it. Go with that. Now, these only have, and I can feel that that's not on there completely. Let me grab a, see how it's not sitting on there, right? The other one was doing the same stupid thing. Come on. These only have a little tiny spring that's supposed to go around and help them seal. I may do a little more than that. The spring that was on it was a little crusty too, so yeah, that's sitting on there. They're pliable enough that yeah, they're pliable enough that they're probably squishing down on it. Again, all I'm trying to do is listen to this run. I want to hear it run. I want to hear it more than just pa 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 pa. I want to hear it run on its own. So I'm going to hook a battery up. I'm going to hook a juice bottle up. I'm going to hit the key and see what happens. Well, we put some fuel in here. I'm watching the level go down. Hopefully my bowls are, the floats are working. And it stops flowing down there. I don't know. It's filling quite a bit. I don't see any dripping yet. Everything in the carburetors really looked clean, actually. It could just be running down the side too. This is not a great setup. I'm hoping that it works, but it's not a great setup. So I don't have anything dripping out of here. This came down to a level and kind of stopped. So I'm gonna blast that in there. And a little bit of choke. Oh, listen to that. It's not running on the fuel, it's running on that. I wanted it to run on the fuel and it's not doing that. But it's running, so. Maybe, I can't imagine it used all of that. It's chugging a little, it kind of wants to. I don't know why it's not running off the fuel in the carburetors. Something's going on where it's not pulling fuel in like it should through the carburetors. Those bowls are clear full because my levels have not changed. I got the choke on. It'll run off the starting fluid. Oh, did we? Oh, we got a little bit of idle off of it. We're getting some drippage down here. It might be from this. It just does not want to pull the fuel in. Yeah, it's so I'm really happy with what I'm seeing. The motor's running. It's just not pulling fuel through the carbs. Trying to think if there's something that I could check the idle screw on there, I guess. It's running on its own gas. Yeah, baby. Oh, it's gonna get stinky in here. It's pouring rain out. I hate to open this, but wow, is that bad. Let's try her again. Uh-oh, we lost everything. What happened? Oh, I hit the kill switch. Look at what's coming out of this. Looks like, okay. I don't have a lot of oil in this either, so I don't want to run it too much. I think I'm good with that. Leave that open for a little bit. You can see my next project, a 76 GL 1000, which is pretty close to being done. Yeah, so, woo, yes. Let the fog clear out of here a little bit. It's pouring rain outside. Really don't want the door open, but man, is that bad. Yeah, I don't have a lot of oil in this, so maybe I should run and get an oil filter and do an oil change on it, and then do another fire and let it warm up a little bit, let it blow some of that crud out. If you look, it's blowing a lot of dirt. It looks like just like dirt. It's a carbon buildup in there. So yeah, I think I'm gonna do an oil change on it. So I'm gonna do a couple things on here, get a couple things bolted back up that need bolted back up. Super happy, because I have never heard this motor run. I heard it turn over before I tore it out of the 82, but I never fired it like that. I didn't even fire it on starting fluid. I would say that maybe the carbs need some adjusting, so this may end up going to Magic Mike, the Carburetor King, and having him, because he's so good at fine-tuning these things for me. I can spend days on it, and I take it down to him, and he's, you know, a day later, he's like, "Oh, things runs good. I just cleaned the carburetors a little bit." That's what he tells me, but I know he does more than that. So, wow, what a relief. Knowing that this is running and all back together like this, awesome. So I'm going to continue on my path today. I do think I'm going to do an oil change, so I'm going to have to do some running. I'm going to put this caliper back on, get that all bled out, get everything ready, and then it's going for going to storage, and that one's coming out. So I'm going to stop the video here, and when I get the oil changed and stuff, I'll bring it back. Today just keeps getting better and better. I called, sometimes O'Reilly's has motorcycle parts, so I called them, and they're like, "No, we don't have any." Sometimes they can be real derelicts. So I looked up what number it was, and I have a HF401 that I found on Dennis Kirk, so thank you, Dennis Kirk. I went to my shelf because I have several on hand for different motorcycles, and lo and behold, I have a 401, and I put LTD with a question mark on it. Apparently at some point I was smart enough to order this because I knew I was going to need it when I was ordering some parts, probably from Bike Bandit, and I was like, you know what, let me order a filter for that. And so I have one on hand. I don't have to go anywhere to find one. My day just keeps getting better. Well, I got the caliper back together, got it back on. Now, I had two Masters, one from the 80, one from the 82. They were both in really poor condition. And I had this Master off of a 85 LTD440. So I was like, yeah, let's use that. Well, I'm running into a problem in that it has it's kind of chopped out, so it has really long forks on it, so I have a lot of extra brake line here. I tried to use the original brake line coming off of this Master. I have a junction box on it, and it ends up right here. I can't get it to mount here with the other line. I don't have a combination of line that's going to work right now. What I can do is get this on, get it hooked up, make sure it works, and then work on getting a little bit longer line. Here is what I'm talking about. This is a junction box. I didn't want to use this. I think this is kind of a crappy setup. But this mounts here, and I don't have enough line here to come up here in any configuration. So for right now, I'm going to use this. And I think what I'm going to try to do is at some point see if I can find a line that's a little bit longer than this. So I can do that, and I can use this, and I can make it look a little better. But for right now, so I can have brakes. Oh, the other really cool news. I'm pretty sure this is the clutch cable off of this bike. I'm almost 100% sure. So I found it. It was laying over there. I was looking in at some other spots. I thought I had one for it, and I was like, well, I guess I'm going to have to order it. Man, I hate doing brakes. But I got it. It took, this was just a pain in the butt. It shouldn't have taken as much as it did, but it did. Check it out. This is a little sloppy. I'm not crazy about that. Not sure what I'm going to do about it. We got her spinning. Oh, can you see it? It's spinning. I grab the brake, and it stops and grabs. We've got good brake pedal on that. Squeeze. Firm to firmer. And we're good. Brakes are done. All right. Moving on now. I think I'm going to go to the tank. Get the tank all hooked up with the hoses that are there. I did an oil change on this. I did find that filter, so I changed it. I would really like to get this thing running and let it idle for a while. I feel like this motor needs to heat up and cool down. It was really nice when I changed the oil, and both of my pipes were hot, so I was kind of excited about that. It also looks like The gaskets that I made for around here seem to be holding all right. That was a bit of a concern for me, but not overly concerned with it. So we have front brakes onto the tank. I want to get it out, let it run for a while, and then I'll put the seat on. So keep going. Well, here it is. I have it as back together as it's going to be today. Carburetors are on it. I have a clutch cable on it. I think that this clutch cable is probably from the 85, just judging because it's a little bit long. So I am going to order a clutch cable. I got the brakes bled out on this side, the fronts. Everything's back together on this side. I adjusted the rear brake out. I have the shifter on. I don't like the way it sits. I don't know if it was different on the 82. It was in pretty poor condition, and I'm not sure where it's at right now. It might be in the trash bin. So overall, this is it. I did start it, let it run. Everything's really warmed up on it. What I did find out is that it doesn't want to run very well. It'll sit and idle okay, and then it'll just die. So I'm thinking it's some type of fuel delivery in there. I don't know for sure, but for what I had to do today, I wanted to get it that far. I know this motor runs. I know that everything is okay. It's just going to be a tuning thing, a little adjustment here or there. I never did anything with those carburetors other than clean them. So maybe the idle circuit needs adjusted. And I do have some cables on here that are not correct. But it is back together as it's going to be. And I must say, I like the way it looks. And considering what it looked like when I got it, what it looks like now, and still not completely done, but what it'll look like when I'm done, I'm pretty happy with it. Pretty happy with the project, the way it turned out. I had a blast. I learned some things along the way. Never taken apart a caliper like that. Got to do that. Figured it all out. Sitting on it, I don't really like these bars. I hate these pullback bars, these whatever they are. I don't like the way they sit. I like a flatter bar this way, but they work. If it ends up being my bike, that will be changed. So this is done. It is going to storage until March when I get everything ordered for it, like the cables that need to be on there, all of that stuff, tires, all that stuff. Bring it back in March, get everything tuned up on it. Maybe take it down to Mike and have him do the carbs on it. And once that's done, it's ready to go. For now, the 440 project is done. Well, like I said, the KZ project is done, and so I'm not going to do any more with it until spring. Probably the next video I will do is a KZ 440 ride video. CX1 I did pretty good with that. So the next time you see this bike will be on the ride video. Wrapping up today. It's going to storage. It'll be out in a couple months. It'll be back out in the spring. So just wanted to throw that in there. Ride safe.